Yeah, this numbering is numbering is a little different. Mani Prabha is different than the printout that we had given. Yeah, correct. Yeah, go ahead, Bhagya.
Jaykumarji, I missed a couple of things as you were saying. Adhisthana Devata of Akasha is, of Shrotrendriya is?
Dig Devata.
Devata. And
Dig.
then Vayu is Adhisthana Devata of Swagendriyam? Is it?
Correct. Vagindriyam.
Okay.
Vag. Vacho. Lila. Sorry. Twagindriyam. Yeah, you said twag, no? Correct.
Yeah.
Kindly tell us all
Twacho.
the 5 once again, please.
Okay. All the 5 means I have to ask which 5. You know, there's so many 5s are there. Which 5 are you talking about?
Only the Devatas.
The Devata. But Devata is there for all 5, you know. Jnanendriya Devataha
Jnanendriya.
Pancha.
Jnanendriya.
Karmendriya Devataha Pancha.
Jnanendriya.
Let's go one by one. Okay. Shrotram. Akashaha. Satvikanshat. Shrotrendriyam Sambhutam. Shrotrasya Dig Devata. Dik. Dik Devata. And then what? Then Vayoho Satvikamshat. Tvagindriyam touch. Sense of touch. Sambhutam. Tvacho Vayuhu. Vayu Devata is the Adhisthana Devata of the sense of touch. Then Agnehe Satvikamshat Chakshurindriyam Sambhutam Chakshushaha Devata Suryaha Surya. Then Apaha Jalasya Satvikamshat Rasanendriyam Sambhutam sense of taste. Rasanayaha Rasana. So Rasanayaha Varunaha. Varuna Devata is the Adhisthana Devata of the sense of taste. All right. Then Prithvi. Prithivyaha Satvikamshat Granendriyam Sambhutam. Grana. Sense of smell comes from the Sattva aspect of Prithvi element. All right. Then Granasya Ashwinau. Ashwini Kumara are the Devata, the Adhisthana Devata of this sense of smell. Then we can go further also. Go further. What about Manaha? Manasaha.
Chandrama.
Chandraha. Manasaha Chandraha. Amazing it is. The way they connect all these things, and they say the gemology, the gem, they say Chandra, that moonstone you must use. You must wear the moonstone ring. If there is some instability with the mind, you wear the moonstone. This idea is all pervasive in our culture. We don't know a lot of things, but it's all there. It's all there. So Manasaha Devata Chandraha. Chandramaha. All right. Next, Buddhehe.
Brahma.
Buddher Brahma. Buddher Brahma. Then Ahankarasya.
Rudra.
Ahankarasya Rudraha. Chittasya.
Vasudeva.
Vasudeva.
Chittasya Vasudevaha. Very good. Very good. And
Ahankara, what did you say, Guruji? Sorry, I missed.
Rudraha.
Ahankarasya Rudraha. Rudraha. What words, what connections they make. Amazing. So that's how it works. Okay.
Did you say Pancha Prana are also called Sutratma?
Yeah, you can say that. I think Pancha Prana. Pancha Prana va, just Prana va.
Prana Sutra.
Yeah, I think Pancha Prana.
Okay. Yeah.
All processes are required. Yeah,
Thank you, Jaykumarji.
right. Yeah, Hemaji, then Dheeraj.
Oh, I mean, my question was almost the same. I also missed there. But anyway, now that you saw Manas and Chandrama, normally they say, no, during Paurnami and Amavasya time, the people with psychological disorders, their problems escalate. There is
Correct. Correct.
a correlation, and how our Shastras have just said it just like that.
So connection between the macrocosm and microcosm. Because separation is not there. See, this kind of thinking will come only if you begin to see the entire universe as not separate from me. And only then all these ideas will come. And then you can make all the connections.
Tides and moods.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Yeah, Dheeraj, go ahead.
Namaste, Guruji. So my question is, like, so you mentioned about you mentioned about Ichha Shakti. So is Kartritva, like the doership, also related to Ichha Shakti, that only if you have that Ichha Shakti, then only you can have a Kartritva, or is it separate? And secondly, like in Bhagavad Gita, so it was again related to Kartritva, not exactly Ichha Shakti, but it says that Ahankara, Prakriti Jaihi Gunaihi Kriyamanani, Ahankara I don't remember the exact, but something like this, Ahankara Vimodhatma Kartaham Iti Manyate. So there, they say that you feel that you are doing because of Ahankara. So my question is that is it really there? Like, is that Kartritva actually there? And if Kartritva, like if we are not doing, then how do we have that Ichha Shakti?
Yeah, so try that shloka and Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha. So, Kriyamanani. What is it? Prakriter Kriyamanani Gunaih Karmani Sarvashaha Ahankara Vimudhatma Mithyacharasa Uchyate.
Kartaramiti manyate.
Oh, Kartahamiti Manyate. Correct. Kartahamiti Manyate. It is like saying, the leaves are, or you grow a tree and then you grow a plant and then the leaves are all shaking. And then you say, I'm shaking the leaves. I'm shaking the tree. Something like that. You're not shaking the tree. No, leaves are not shaking because of you. So that idea you can bring in here. But anyway, going back to your question. Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti. In fact, Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. Okay. That's the order. That's the order. So Ichha has to be there. How do you know that? Dhyayate Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. So previously what happened? I looked at certain things. I did some window shopping. I was not interested in shopping, but I did window shopping. Okay. Dhyayate Vishayan Pumsaha. Then beautiful things I saw. Then I came to know more about those beautiful things. Dhyayate Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate. Then slowly, every time I wake up in the morning, instead of saying Karagre Vasate Lakshmi, I'm thinking of this device that I saw in the window shopping. And Siri, it is some device that talks to you. You can say, hey Siri, what's the weather like today? Because we are all vacationing and then we want to know the weather. First thing in the morning, we want to know the weather. Okay. So, Sangasteshu Pajayate, Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Appa. So, initially, it is just there in the mind. You have no desire at all. There is no desire. But slowly, Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. That's it. Now, this Sangha is not ordinary. It has started driving me. It has started driving me. Kama. Then this boy wanted this device. Kamat Sanjayate Krodhaha. Boy asked the father and mother, I want this device. And father and mother said, you don't need this. If you get your degree, you don't need all this. And the Krodha. So he is angry now with the parents. So therefore, to your question, Ichha Shakti is there first. Only then Kriya. There is no Kriya without Ichha. Dheeraj. There is no Kriya without Ichha. Mandopi na pravartate prayojanam anuddishya. Without seeing prayojanam vina. Vina prayojanam deke, ye admi will not do anything. Mandopi. Even the guy on the street who is just, who you think has nothing to do, has no family, he has nothing, he is walking around and talking to everybody and talking to himself. That person also will not be talking without a purpose in mind, like that Shastram says. So what to talk about the rest of us, right? And so Ichha is there driving us. Then Kartritvam. Kartritvam is based on Ajnana. I desired, I did. I desired, I researched, I did. I is there everywhere. Who desired, if you say? You have to say, I desired only. And so that I identify with the body, mind, sense complex, and then that becomes my entity. That becomes who I am. So I is, that's how Kartritvam comes about. Because I don't know better. I don't know better. Therefore, I have to listen to Bhagavad, listen to Krishna he says, hey, Ahankara Vimudatma Kartaham iti manyate. This is hitting our head like this. Hey Mudaha, he says that. Does that answer your question, Dheeraj?
Yes, yeah, thanks, Guruji. So, like another follow-up also I had. I'm not sure if others are waiting.
Yeah, let's wait for Ram and Mahesh and Premaji. Come back to you later.
Thank you, Guruji. So this might be a relatively naive question, Guruji, but I'm going to ask this anyways. So we looked at the stages of creation, starting with Brahman plus Maya, basically, resulting in Ishvara. Ishvara wills the creations. Then you have the subtle elements, the gross elements, that entire sequence that we talked about earlier in the class. The fundamental question that I'm getting stuck at, Guruji, is if Brahman is complete, desireless, changeless, what is the desire of Brahman itself to become many? Why create itself in the first place? So that's the first part of my question. And then the second part of the question is, then I start thinking about, then where does the concept of avidya itself come, right? If Brahman is supposed to be jnana swarupa, how can the jiva forget their nature? Because the jiva came from Brahman, right? So it's the cause effect is where my brain's getting stuck at, Guruji.
Right. You know, in the Bhagavad Gita, Jnanam apohanam cha, he says, Krishna, means knowledge is also there, and the opposite of knowledge, which is ignorance, is also there. So whenever there is knowledge, there is going to be ignorance. Whenever there is knowledge, ignorance will be there. And so if you accept that knowledge exists, then you have to accept that ignorance also exists. It has to exist. And we can't keep saying ignorance is bliss and move away, because ignorance may be okay in some situations. But in this case, ignorance is the root cause of all problems. And so ignorance also there, ignorance of the self, ignorance of anything is there, and ignorance of the self also is there. And so creation, if you ask this question to Mandukya Upanishad, Mandukya will say, where is the creation? Show me creation. Show me creation.
It's manifestation, it's not creation.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I see Brahman. You are telling me pot is there. I'm telling you clay is there. No, you are telling pot is there. No, clay is also there, pot is there. Then you are going around and trying to analyze the whole situation. Asti bhati priyam rupam. Namachet chamsa panchakam. Adyatrayam brahma rupam. Jagad rupam tatodvayam. Jagat is just name and form. That's it. We don't give, it has no reality other than Brahma. Name and form. That's what Shankara says there. So, that's how it works, Ram. That's how it works.
So the fact that
and one more thing.
Yeah.
Brahman has no reason to create. Brahman doesn't even have the capacity to create, no need to create. Nothing is there, Brahman.
Mm.
But this creation has no beginning. That is the problem. The problem is, if there was a beginning for the creation, we can go ask the question, why did Brahman create? What pressure did it have? Did Brahman make a mistake? All these questions we can ask.
You can put agency to it. That makes sense. Yeah.
You can ask. But then,
Yeah.
because creation, because karma and kartritvam, creation requires karma requires kartritvam requires avidya. And if avidya was not there before, avidya can never be there in the future also. But since the creation is there, avidya is anadi. Anadi. Everybody is looking for that time when creation happened. Hey, that's a wrong question. It's a wrong question because time itself is part of the creation. You are saying, I'll keep time as Satyam, and you tell me in this time when did it create, means there's no answer to that question. The wrong question, in fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. It's very deep, Guruji. Just trying to process it.
No, it is. And that's why Sushupti also is, see, if you analyze Sushupti Avastha, time doesn't exist.
Right.
There's no concept of time that we take for granted. We take time for granted. All our books are there, history books are there. It all talks about time. Future, you have to plan for time. Plan.
Yeah.
Everything is based on time. And Shastram is the one that pulls the rug from under us like this. Just takes it out. Amazing.
Makes sense. Thank you, Guruji.
Yeah. Maheshji, then Hariji.
Namaste, Jagamaji. One quick, two questions. One, is this in our translation, when you say from this, is this like from him? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So from this means that was talked about in the previous mantra. From this. Puratraye kridati yaha. So from this means from Atma.
That's one. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's what I mean.
From Atma.
Okay. Okay. So I thought, that's why I thought maybe from him may be a better translation. That's
From this.
Yeah, we are talking. Okay. Another question is, when we are learning this Tattva Bodha, when we are Tattva Bodha is defining this Sushma Shariram and Karana Shariram and all. Sushma Shariram, we said this, something which make our organ, the Shakti behind our organs to function, that makes our body function. So, and they say it is, it's like a bridge between Atma and Sthula Sharira. That's what I remember we discussing. And then Karana Shariram was like this, we carry all the avidya, and it also carry the our karmas and things like that. So when a person dies, we said that Karana Shariram goes and at some point manifest as some other entity. So what is we also said Sushma Shariram leaves the body. And my question is, Sushma Shariram, where does it go? Because it's only a bridge. If the Sthula Shariram is not there, it has no road. Karma Shariram I can understand. That's where all the seed, it's like a seed of a tree or a plant, from which the next one will spring.
Yeah, I mean, it goes means, yeah, it is there very much in this universe.
I mean, why?
It ha-
What is that role? I mean, because it's not going to come. Does it? What I'm trying to say is, when Karana Shariram becomes another, for the same as a person, say me,
right.
then the Sushma Shariram, there's no memory or anything associated with it to be carried, right? I thought it will end there. I mean, it leaves Shariram, but that's it.
It is all
Whereas Karana
unmanifest.
Shariram is like a seed.
It's all unmanifest. Yeah, even the Sukshma Shariram merges with the Karana Shariram.
Oh.
So it is all, Karana Shariram means what? It is
So what is
seed
that?
form.
Why
Seed.
should it merge? Because what is that
Because
Sushma Shariram brings?
it's not it is indestructible, no? Indestructibility is there, no? Mass itself can't be destroyed, in fact. Sthula Shariram did not go anywhere. Mass cannot be destroyed.
Yeah.
So mass is very much there. Where does it go? It is there. It is there. It gets mixed up and it's there all over. And the same thing with Sukshma. In fact, Sukshma is also, that is our theory. That is our thesis, not theory, I should not say. So if material itself cannot disappear, vanish, then what about the consciousness or Sukshmam, that is the observer of the material? Material cannot observe the subtle consciousness. Consciousness which we can't observe is the only observer of the material, which is gross. And you are saying gross itself, there is a law of conservation of mass and energy. Then Shastram says you have no proof to say that consciousness just disappears like that.
No, we're not talking about consciousness. I mean, I thought the consciousness when we say is Atma, right? Not the Sushma Shariram per se, right?
Karana Shariram, again, same thing. Like anything, like carbon atom. Carbon atom doesn't vanish anywhere. So Karana Shariram is also another entity.
Yeah, Karana Shariram I understand, but I have difficulty in understanding the Sushma Shariram.
Sushma is part
Atma,
of,
I understand.
It's part of Karana Shariram. They're not two separate entities. It is collapsed into Karana Shariram. Unmanifest.
Okay,
unmanifest.
okay.
Unmanifest. Yeah. It's manifest. Now it is manifest. We are unable to imagine the unmanifest.
Yeah, I went through this Tattvabodha, Swamiji's book, and I went through from that Sushma Shariram question onwards. I didn't find anywhere it said it merges. I mean, maybe I missed something.
No, that's merges or what? It is not the two. You have two separate entities. Karana Shariram is hanging around, and he'll say, I'll go look around. I'll go to America. I'll go to Europe, and they went off in two different directions. Not like that, And so they are together, no doubt, but one is collapsed. Sushma Shariram is now unmanifest because it manifests itself without the Sthula Shariram. And you can say Karana Shariram is a carrier if you want, you can use those words.
Yeah, all your
carrier.
What do you call it? Vasanas and all those things I can understand. But Sushma, I never, because all it says is, okay, this is a bridge between Atma and Sthula Shariram.
It's a way of saying it, yeah. It makes the body what it is.
And okay. So this Sutratma earlier we said to Bhagyaji's question is the Panchaprana, right? I mean, that's what you confirmed. But Panchaprana with mind and intellect, ego, that is Sushma Shariram, isn't it?
Correct.
So there is another technical term generated just for the Panchaprana.
Correct. When this asks it's a technical term referring to Panchaprana.
Okay. So basically, another way to put it is Sushma Shariram minus mind intellect, ego.
Yeah, I mean, we don't, we say Jnanendriyani, we don't say Sukshma Sharira,
Yeah.
minus Karmendriyani, minus Pancha
No, I know.
Prana,
I'm just
minus
saying is why. Yeah, Pancha Prana is already. I mean, okay, Pancha Prana
Correct.
alone that grouped as Sutratma.
Right, right. It's a
Okay.
it's just, by the way, just a technical note.
Yeah. Thank you, Jaykumar.
Thank you, Mahesh. Hari, then Vaidya and Dheeraj.
Hari Om Guruji.
Hari Om.
Guruji,
Hari.
when we are talking about creation, can we say creation is Vikshepa?
Right. Can we say creation is Vikshepa?
Because
Yeah.
in one way you have already answered the very question when the world was created. That question itself is fallacious because the world is not created.
Yeah, so
in-
answer to your question is correct. Vikshepa. It's a projection. It's a projection only. Because all that is there is clay. Is there anything besides clay in my hand? Please tell me. Anything else that you think is there is a projection. And one projection is pot. The word pot is a projection. It's your own creation, our own creation. Pot, P-O-T. Because there is something discrete about this object and I want to refer to it. Its form, its function, everything I want to refer to it. I give it a name pot. And there is a form also. Form. But the form is not separate from clay. There is no object called form. That's why we say there is no object called pot, really speaking. Really speaking. But empirically, you can use the word pot and you can even use this object. And because it seems distinct from every other object, we use it. So everything is tentative, all vyavaharika. That's why vyavaharika satyam. And you can say it's vikshepa. Yeah. Because it's a projection.
Hence the question when the world, see, this is a question, perennial question, when the world was, the scientists, they try to find out when it was, what is the origin of the world.
Right.
So that question itself is fallacious because it doesn't exist.
So I will ask the question, when you say when, are you assuming something exists? Are you assuming time exists? And you're asking me to tell you in this axis of time when, how long back I should go to tell you when the world created? Then I'll give you Brahma's time. Brahmaji's time scale, I will tell you. And they tell you exactly in Brahma's time scale, where 51st Manvantra, I mean 51st part of this Yuga and all that is very much clear. Before that, there was Pralaya. Before that, everything was just in unmanifest. For how long? For as long as this. There's so many trillion years or something, human years. Then before that, what happened? Before that, this is a creation which is now like this, was there before also. Go prove it or disprove it. Whichever way. I can keep the scientists busy, correct, for a long time. Because he's saying when. He's saying no, time is satyam. He says, okay, if you say time is satyam, you're booked for life. Correct. So back to your question. Yeah, and you see when something got created, within the realm of, we are taking certain things as reality. Like a child is playing around and it's playing with balloons and toys. For it, everything is real. And then your language will be based on that reality. Until the child cries after the balloon bursts. And then you have to say something. What will you say? You have to say, we have to patch up. And you have to say, oh, I see, it burst. Okay, all balloons burst. I will get you. All balloons burst also you can't say, because then it will start crying even more. Oh my God, all balloons burst. You have to be careful what you tell the child. So, the game. So that's how it works, Hariji. You're correct. Your points are well noted, and the question is fallacious. You're correct. Because the question assumes a particular type of creation, and it excludes space and time probably. Maybe it includes space but excludes time. And so that's a question that is based on certain assumptions. Yeah. Vaidya, then Dheeraj. Yeah. Thank you, Harish.
Jaykumarji, you were talking about the devatas, presiding deities for the different jnanendriyas, and then we went to manaha, right? So we didn't go on to the karmendriyas. So karmendriyas come from the tamas aspects of the panchabhutas, right?
Okay, we did cover all karmendriyas.
In the full class.
Yeah, after jnanendriyas, we went to karmendriyas. No, vak, pani, padam, vayu, upastaha. We said vak comes from the rajas amsha of akashaha. We said pani comes from the rajas aspect of vayuhu. We said padam, padaha comes from the rajas aspect of agnihi. All that we said. We also talked about the adhisthana devatas of all these things.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is how it is. Now, tamas is this one. Then tamas becomes gross. And so the sthula panchabhutani come from the tamas aspect of all the sukshma panchabhutas. Yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
After we talk about prana and manaha, right?
Yeah.
Then we talk about panchikaranam. Still, all the gross things are to be explained now. And at that point, we say the first step is called panchikaranam, which is the creation of the gross 5 elements from the subtle 5 elements. Yeah, that's called
So the pranas come from the rajas aspects of the 5 elements? No.
Correct. So rajas, so prana, so like manas, the sattva aspect of all akasha vayu. Okay, sattva aspect of akasha gives rotrendriya. Like this, you have 5 sense organs. Then the collective sattva aspect of all 5 bhutas will create manaha, has created manaha.
Okay.
Now you go to rajas. Each rajas, vak, pani, padam and all it created. Then the collection, the rajo, samasti rajasam shat, from the collection of all the rajas elements of, rajas aspect of all the 5 elements, creates pancha prana. Like manas.
Okay.
It's a collective entity. And there may be some more about, the rajas. So this is how it is talked about. Manas is collective, like that. Prana also is collective.
Okay.
Samashti.
And then along with manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, they are also considered the sattva aspects of all the panchabhutas together.
Correct. They're all just shades of the mind, different.
Okay.
We are delineating certain functions of the mind and giving it these names.
Okay.
Ahankar.
Yes.
So, like for example, sankalpa, vikalpa become manaha. The doubting faculty is the mind. Doubting and sankalpa, willing also. Okay, doubting faculty we can say. Emoting faculty is the mind. Then buddhi, nischayatmika buddhi. The determining, the willing faculty is the buddhi. Then ahankarta iti ahankaraha. The entity that takes ownership to these things is called ahankaraha. Chittam, memory. I forget the Sanskrit definition of chittam now. So
chintanam karoti, something like that.
Chintana kartru chittam. Correct. That's the definition. Chintana kartru. Kartri, because it is there.
Chittam related to memories, like the definition it says Chintana Kartri, but in more in day-to-day usage, Chitta would refer to that the memory, sanskaras, those aspects, or is it about
No,
Chitta?
correct. No, correct. Chintanam can mean thinking also.
Hmm.
And so here Chintanam refers to that Pratyabhijna. So referring to the memory, recollection.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
That's how it
Then,
works.
Jaykumarji, this is an extension of the question that was asked earlier. So, creation is anadi, avidya is also anadi. But so this and the cycle has started like this, right? So, but
So 1 minute. So creation is anadi is not a correct statement.
creation is not anadi. No,
See, yeah. So
because in the sankalpam, that's how it says, right?
yeah. So anadi avidya it says.
Ah,
Sankalpa is anadi avidya vasanaya and all we do we say that, right?
Pravartamanasya asmin mahati
Pravartamanasya.
samsara chakre.
The anadi avidya. The anadi refers to avidya, not to the samsara. Samsara is
Oh,
right, but
no. That is the anadi avidya. It's the impetus for the samsara chakra, right?
Samsara, because samsara, because pralaya is there. So pralaya is there, so to speak. And so
Oh, so that's why you're saying creation is not anadi, because creation will come to an end with pralaya.
exactly, there's another creation coming later. So because the seed
okay.
is always there, as long as the seed is there, the tree is going to come.
Okay.
So from that respect, we see in this anadi, when you say creation is anadi, the pralaya is hidden. Hidden means you're not talking about pralaya. The same creation was there for forever. You say that is not correct. We don't agree with that. Creation has happened, and then it has dissolved, and then again creation, so to speak. So generally in the Shadanadi, there are 6 anadis. We don't list Jagat in that. Because Jagat is an effect. We are talking about anadi causes. All anadi refers to causes. Yeah.
So, but then you talked about Brahman. What is the impetus for Brahman to do the creation?
Yeah. There is no impetus for Brahman to do the creation. No. Brahman cannot have any impetus for the creation. The minute Jagat is there, then you have to ask who created the Jagat. Then you have to bring in, because Brahman is, everything is Brahman, but still there is a creation, and we are still saying Jagat does not have the impetus to create. Then who? So this Trigunatmika Maya is a perfect explanation for that.
Sorry to cut in, Vaidyaji, but Guruji, the Maya also is anadi, right?
Correct. Maya is anadi.
Thank you.
Maya is anadi. Vidya, Maya, both are anadi. Good. Then Dheeraj,
related to this, I have a question. So when we talk about Jagat, then ego comes automatically. There is no Jagat without ego.
Yeah, ego is part of Jagat. Yes, indeed.
It's there, inseparable.
So understand one thing. Yeah. Ego is there, but in your deep sleep, ego is not there. See, if you think about it, we can't be carried away just like that. So we have to, that whole analysis helps us see that, hey, there is Sushupti Avastha where I don't exist. I'm not even aware of my existence. Where is the question of Ahankara and all? The king and the beggar are both identical in deep sleep, like that Shastram says. And so if Ahankara were there, there has to be some difference in deep sleep. Deep sleep, no difference is there.
So in the deep sleep, there is no Jagat.
Yeah.
Hence, the Ahankara is absent.
Then whatever it is, Ahankara is absent in deep sleep. Jagat is absent for you. For the sleeper, Jagat is absent.
Yeah, okay.
Because the guy next to you is awake because you are snoring. What to do? For him, Jagat is very much there. In the form of snoring, it is very much there. So therefore, because you could tell him there is no Jagat, so what if I snore and all? You can't argue like that because he can. So we have to carefully look at this and understand this.
Ego is absent even in the waking state in certain circumstances, like but deeply involved. For example, when I'm playing, I don't consider that. So small instances.
So joy, when there is an expression of joy, joy just eclipses everything. And so there, the sense of I is not there at all. Not there. Correct. You're right. Yeah. Shall we wait for Prema ji, Dheeraj? Give her a chance first. Yeah.
Guruji, I'm trying to decipher my own notes. And so I'd like some help with that. I have taken notes that Atma Ajnana Mahanidra, Dirgha Swapne Pushniyate. And then under that, I put Shivamanasa Puja, Nidra Samadhi Sthitihi comes in that. Is that the Karana Shariram you mentioned? How am I getting confused there?
Is what the Karana Shariram? Is what the Karana Shariram? Is that the Karana Shariram means? That
the
is
Nidra
what?
Samadhi Sthitihi that is mentioned, Girijamati Sarchara, Prana Shariram Graham and all that. Then in that Manasa Puja, it comes Nidra Samadhi Sthitihi. So that Nidra Samadhi Sthitihi, is it the that is it a swapna state where you're in, like in the Sushupti state, or when you're in deep sleep, there is nothing, you don't exist. So Nidra Samadhi Sthitihi. So I put under it the Karana Shariram question mark. So I don't know what I made the mistake there.
Right. So correct. So in a way that Nidra Samadhi Sthiti is referring to Sushupti, deep sleep. State of deep sleep, okay? And he's equating that to Samadhi in that Shiva Manasa Puja. But anyway, here, deep sleep. All right, so 3 states of experience. Jagrad Avastha, Swapna Avastha, Sushupti Avastha. Now, in deep sleep, there is no dream, there is no waking at all. Nothing, no activity is going on. No activity. I mean, involuntary activities will go on, but no mental activity, no willful activity is going on. Okay. Therefore, okay, now come back to dream. Dream, there is some activity going on, and the only activity is mental activity. Mental activity. Okay. And here in the Jagrad Avastha, there is mental and physical activity also going on. So physical activity is unique to Jagrad Avastha, waking state. Therefore, the Sthula Shariram is highlighted in waking state. Because the Sthula Shariram for all practical purposes is absent in dream and in deep state. So Sthulam and Jagrat there is a one-to-one correspondence between the two. Among the Avasthas, Jagrat, and among the Shariras, Sthulam. There is a one-to-one correspondence. Next, you come to dream state, Sapnavastha. Sapnavasthayam, Sthula Shariram doesn't play at all. There is no role for Sthula Shariram. Sukshma Shariram is active. The Sukshma Shariram is the hero of the dream state. And therefore, we connect the Swapnavastha and Sukshma Shariram, one-to-one correspondence. Even though Sukshma Shariram is active in the waking state also. But the hero is Stula Sharira. Because active in this analysis, he's active. Not active here, not active here. Okay, so Sukshma Shariram is the hero in the deep, in the dream state. Then Sushupti. Sushupti, Sukshma Shariram, at least the mind is not active. So what is left is Karana Sharira. In other words, we can talk about Karana Shariram in the deep sleep state. And so somehow in the Sushupti and Karana Shariram are equated. Not equated, but there's a one-to-one correspondence. That is why what you wrote is correct. Karana Shariram question mark is there. And so
yes, I couldn't connect. It was a little difficult. So thank you, Guruji.
That's why we say that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Dheeraj and then Prasad.
Dhanyawada again. So actually, I just wanted to follow up on my earlier question, and now some people have also asked their questions, so many things have gotten related. So mainly my question is that free will, which we feel we have as you know, as a due to that avidya, so that is there like so when we say free will, like in English, we typically mean that okay, we have the ability to choose what to do. So that how do we ascribe it? Is that same as kartritva, like having the freedom to choose what to do? Is that what gives the feeling of kartritva also, or are these different? And like when and like as you said, like in so there in Gita Shloka also it was there ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. So is it ahankara which leads to the idea of free will? Like if ahankara is absent, let's say in deep sleep, then essentially there wouldn't be any free will also if ahankara wouldn't be there. Can we say that? Like for example, if something is completely jada, like let's say you design an AI system, and you know, let's say that for the country's defense, let's say it can detect the incoming drones, and you know, it can just avert them on its own without you know, an explicit instruction. And like initially, okay, it has been programmed to, you know, just detect those drones and, you know, defend it against that, or maybe even attack it. But let's say it has that ability, but we don't ascribe kartritva just to that AI machine or system, that okay, it's just doing what it is programmed to. But of course we wouldn't, you know, however intelligent it might be, like let's say even chat GPT or any such AI device, but we never ascribe that it has free will. At least we don't think of it that way for now. So is that due to the combination of ahankara and the okay, the prakriti also includes ahankara, but let's say the ahankara, the kriya shakti, and maybe, you know, the chit chaya also, the reflection of consciousness which is happening in that ahankara, like do all the things get combined to create that effect, or is it one wherein we can define that okay, no, this is the real cause of that kartatva?
Right. So Chidabhasa, Chichaya, Chidabhasa, mind, these are all synonymous. Okay. So that mind has the beautiful capacity to reflect the consciousness. To be able to even talk about consciousness, it has to, it's endowed with that capacity, Chichaya. Now, Ahankara is one aspect of the mind. Ahankara is one aspect of the mind. And free will. So if you compare animals and humans, we understand what free will really is. And we say animals do not have free will. Do not have free will. Even though they seem to protect themselves, they know exactly what to do when, you know, from a security perspective and all, they protect themselves quite well. And so they seem to have some free will from that perspective, but very circumscribed, it is very limited. They can't think beyond, they're programmed to think in certain ways. Maybe that's another type of AI system, who knows? Okay. And So it's all happening together. So in the human mind, aham karomi iti ahankarta. See, the thing is this: a plant, the animal does not say, "I am doing it." It doesn't have the capacity to say, and it means it doesn't say. It doesn't think. Look at that. If it thought of something, it should be able to express it. That too, ahankarta is a very important. With this one, emotion. It is mental state. Ahankarta. So I say, I do it. That ownership is what makes ahankara such a powerful entity. Sometimes we do things and we don't own it up. Means we let go. A lot of things we do, but we don't think we did it. We helped somebody or whatever. So ahankarta is that deeply entrenched notion. And kartrutvam goes along with, both are together. Kartrutvam and ahankara are not two different things. They're not two different things. The attribute of agency which belongs to ahankara, which is closely associated with ahankara, is kartrutvam. Because ahankaromi, kri is dhatu is there very much in ahankara. Kartrutvam also dhatu is kri. This also kri. There are no two separate kris, you know. There has to be only one kri. So both are together. Both are identical. Both happen at the same time. Doership and ahankara are together. Okay? Yeah, and good topics. Good topics. We'll continue the discussion. Yeah, Prasad, go ahead.
I just want to add one more question to what Ramji asked in the beginning. The question is like, who is liberated? So that's the other question. So a false bondage corrected by false liberation generated by false knowledge. So just to your answer, back to the question is like, who is liberated? Just want to add.
Who is liberated? The one who says, I am bound is liberated. If you don't say I am bound, then you don't need liberation. You don't need Shastra. Shastra is not for you. Shastra is for the one who says, help, help, help. That person only Shastra comes. Yeah. But when we say, if you don't say I am bound, means what? Bondage is, we never know. Things may be going well. We think we are free and everything is okay. Things may not be going well. Then only bondage, the idea of bondage seems to loom large. So there is an up and down kind of dukkha is there. But yeah, the person who says I am bound is the one who gets liberated.
This is from Paramarthika level we talk about. Yeah. So when you talk from Vyavaharika, it's totally different. So
no, I'm saying Vyavaharika. The person in Vyavaharika who says I am bound, that is Vyavahara only gets liberated. Liberation also is Vyavahara only, Prasadji. Liberation is not Paramarthika.
No, I said the other way. I said like false bondage because at a higher level, because I am always true. There is nothing false for me. So I am real. From that perspective, I'm saying false bondage corrected by false liberation generated by false knowledge at a higher, from the order of reality from Paramarthika.
Right, Prasad ji, to just to add to what you said, if I don't know and I don't have self-awareness of how bound I am, how do I know I need to be liberated? Right, that's the question that I get, because I need to know intellectually that I'm bound. Only then I can ask for liberation. If not, how am I going to ask for liberation?
Yeah. No, that's from Vyavahara, that's true. What I'm saying is like when you ask like why creation, so that's the answer earlier. So
no, makes sense. Yeah, I got that.
That's why I said who is liberated also a question.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalasha Hastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha.